Pokebabs! Hey guys, welcome back to Pokebabs. And today we are going to be looking at a deck that I've been using recently in standard format. And on first glance it might look like a pretty typical Yveltal Garbodor list, but we've got a few techs in here to try and help our matchups. In our local meta, we've got a lot of fairy typing and also some lightning like Jolteon and Zebstrika, and so I wanted to have some basically some outs for those decks that are trying to hard counter Yveltal. And so the way I went about that was a couple different ways, but first we'll just see we do have two of the Yveltal-EX. Evo is a great attack, Y-Cyclone a great support attack as well. So we've got only two of those, and that's because we are playing one of the Darkrai-EX. Now, this is a powerful, definitely powerful Pokemon. It does have this Dark Pulse attack, and hitting for 20 plus 20 for each Dark Energy, and Dark Head, not as useful, but could be useful in certain situations. Most importantly, though, it has a weakness to fighting and not lightning. So we won't get one hit by Zebstrika. And that's very, very helpful. Not only just that weakness there, but also the resistance not being fighting for the Zebstrika as well. So that's definitely helpful. And while we don't play enough Dark Energy to very often go for a one-hit knockout on Dark Pulse, on EXs that is, I mean, it's very similar to Yveltal in the sense that we're probably just trying to go for two-hit knockouts or a follow-up to the Fright Knight, of which we are playing two, which is pretty standard, I think. Playing two of this Yveltal from Breakthrough with the Fright Knight ability and Pitch Black Spear. I think we've all seen these before. Very powerful effect and attack. I do have a 2-2 Garbodor line. Just want to highlight that. Garbotoxin, of course, one of the most powerful abilities in the game right now, shutting down all other abilities as long as we have a tool attached, and there's no very consistent tool removal right now. So we've got that, and then also the two Shaymin-EX for setup. That's also fairly standard in this deck. And then we're playing a 2-2 Bisharp line. And this is something I haven't actually seen anywhere else. The only place I've seen this card used is in Rainbow Road because it does have the dual typing. And that's why we're using it here as well. Now, it does have the dark typing, which is nice because we can use Mach Claw since it uses dark energy. But also, the important thing is that we are a steel type. And this is particularly nice against those fairy decks. We can use Retaliate here for Colorless, doing 30 plus 60 if we were knocked out last turn. This is reminiscent of Retaliate on Terrakion and other Pokemon in the past. And here it's, again, very useful because we're hitting for the right weakness. And against the Rainbow Force Xerneas, or against Xerneas Break, or any of the Xerneas, really, we can Retaliate for knockout, which is fantastic. Something to keep in mind is that it does do 90 times 2, but then they resist us because we're also dark. And so we actually will only hit them for 160. So just something to keep in mind when you're going up against fairy decks. If you use Bisharp, it does the weakness and then the resistance. Now we also have Mach Claw, which we don't use very often, but it can work in certain matchups because it does hit for 60, which means we hit for 120, enough to knock out a Xerneas because it is not affected by resistance. So we will hit that 120, enough to knock out Xerneas. Now, Retaliate is also useful as follow-up for a knockout on other Pokemon that we maybe have hit with Fright Knight, the Fright Knight Yveltal using Pitch Black Spear. So, and it's a non-EX attacker, which is always nice to have. It can also be used against Regice, Glaceon, that type of thing. Now, other than that, the deck list is pretty standard. We do see we've got 2 Enhanced Hammer, 4 Max Elixir, a Super Rod for recycling our resources, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 VS Seeker. We're playing the Delinquent build. I really think that Delinquent is nice in certain situations. It can just put your opponent back several turns. Just the one Lysandre did have to cut a little bit of consistency with the 2-2 Bisharp line. So one place we do that is with the Lysandre. We do play 2N, 4 Professor Sycamore, Flare Grunt, again, another fantastic card, especially in mirror matches or when your opponent is running dry of energy. We're just playing 1 Parallel City, and although I do think Parallel City is a fantastic card, I like to have another out besides Delinquent if my opponent plays Parallel City first to be able to bump the stadium. So we're going to be playing 2 Reverse Valley. And the other reason I play Reverse Valley is so that we can up the damage. It does only do 10 extra damage, but it can help in a lot of situations. For example, we could pitch Black Spear for 70, and then we could follow it up with a Retaliate for 100 to do 170. It definitely helps with the Retaliate number hitting 100. And yeah, it's just nice and very, very unique situations where it can be helpful. So always good to do the extra damage. We do have 2 Fighting Fairy Vault and 3 Float Stone, which I believe is pretty standard. The Float Stone is good, obviously, for Garbodor, but also good for Bisharp, since it does have that 2 retreat cost. And also Bisharp is nice with that fighting weakness as well. Just some weakness diversity is good. And then we've got, again, I think fairly standard at this point, 4 DCE and 9 Dark Energy. So this has been a pretty good deck for me, and I've been able to top 4 2 local league challenges with this deck, and so we'll see how it can go today. Can it be effective against the PTCGO crowd? So we'll see what happens. Alright, so we're going to head into a game here, going up against Alpha Cry, and it looked like it's probably going to be a Mega Mewtwo deck. We will opt to go first, definitely. And let's see, we do start at Trubbish. We have Yveltal. And we'll see what we do after that. Since we're going first, we'll just start with the Trubbish in the active. And, ooh, okay. Shield Energy. Huh. Maybe it's a Scizor. Could be Mega Scizor. We'll see if that's what it is. And our opponent is choosing their active, and I think we're going to get a lot better idea of what's going on here. We won't bench anything yet. We do get the Float Stone, though. It is a Scizor, so it is going to be Mega Scizor. And we have a really, really disgusting hand. So I'm actually just going to discard these 2 stadiums, since they do get discarded anyway. And we'll hope to draw into an end, I guess, is all I can say at this point. So we will set up, draw 3. So we got a... Oof, that's unfortunate. We'll touch DC and pass. Perhaps our opponent will end us. That is possible, not highly likely. And otherwise, we have a terrible hand. I was hoping they were going to attach a Shield Energy there, to be honest. So now we're probably going to see an Ultra Ball for Hoopa. And it'll be interesting to see what else they play. If they play like Cobalion, they play Garbodor, okay. But if they play any other non-EX attackers, that would be interesting to see. We do see the Hoopa come down, though, and probably grabbing a couple Scizors and a Shaymin. And that is exactly what we see. Now, if they end us, though, that is the main thing. I need them to end us. So you set up for 3. So no Spirit Links yet. And do they get anything off of that? Perhaps they have an N and they're contemplating whether or not they should play it. And we do see a Steel Wing. We get a Sycamore, and that is not good. But we're just going to have to discard our VS Seekers and admit that we're just not going to get to use them. Bisharp could be useful, so I will use it there. And we're just going to retreat. And I don't want them to discard the Special Energy. So I think I Y-Cyclone, even though I don't really want to do that either. Yeah, I'm just going to take a chance. And hopefully they don't I mean, we could have maybe put it onto like the Shaymin or onto the Pawniard, perhaps. But if I get one more turn, I can Delinquent. And then I can put it on an Yveltal, which is a lot better. So I see a Professor's Letter. Grabbing 2 steals. And do they have the Mega? That's the big deal. If they have the Mega, they can discard the DCE. And we just see a Mega Evolution on the bench. So that's nice. Now we get to play Delinquent, which frees up our bench. And then also allows us to... Maybe I just go for a Shaymin. Because I want to put the Pawniard or the Bisharp down. And I think it's better actually to do this. We still have the other Bisharp in the deck, and we don't really like need it this turn or anything. Put down Yveltal, put a DCE on Yveltal, and then I'll set up. And we're going to Y-Cyclone this turn. We'll get a knockout. We'll move the special energy away and be safe in that sense. And I'm actually going to put the Fighting Fairy Belt here. And then, yeah, we're going to Y-Cyclone for a knockout. And this is nice, actually, the way that we got this all set up. So we have 2 DCs on the bench. And then we can just Float Stone the active. I didn't really want to do it that turn, though, just in case something funky happens. But yeah, right now there's no Stadium to discard. And so they can Iron Crusher for 120, but what does that really do them? It doesn't really do a whole lot for them. So you have Versus Seeker. And what do they have? They have an N, so that could be a little disconcerting. But we do have the first 2 prizes, and that's nice. And we'll see what happens here off this N. Can we draw into a supporter or energy? Let's draw into a supporter and an energy. And a Float Stone. So, what I think I'm going to go for is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Doing 170 if we don't even get a Max Elixir. And we don't. But we will get the Garbodor down. I don't know if it even helps us, but yeah, might as well. Might as well put the Garbodor down. Get the Bisharp down as well. And we'll hit for 170. Yeah, I'd rather do that. Because unless he plays, well, he could, but if he plays Enhanced Hammer and then Iron Crushers away the DCE, that could be a little disappointing. But even if we Y-Cyclone, he'd be able to do the same thing. I'd rather leave it on the active. Give us some other options. But, yeah, so far so good. We see a Lysandre bringing up something. Maybe, yeah, just a Shaymin. That makes sense. It's a pretty smart play, I suppose. But they do, I mean, they are basically walking into themselves getting knocked out. In fact, we're going to really use Bisharp for a knockout. And that is what I love to see. Love to get a knockout with Bisharp using our 1 prize attacker. So you can see how it could be useful in other matchups besides against fairy decks. So we'll put that down. And we just see a concession from our opponent. Maybe they didn't realize what Bisharp does, but we were going to take the knockout, retaliate, be down to only 2 prizes, and with a really big Yveltal on the bench. And I think our opponent would have just been kind of toast at that point. Alrighty, so let's head into a game here. Going against Darjeeling and Psychic, Fire, Water, Colorless. Sounds like Volcanion with Hoopa. Not 100% sure, but that would seem to make the most sense. And we're just waiting for a coin flip. That cool Rayquaza coin. And we did lose the coin flip. But if we start Fright Night, that's always good against Volcanion. Well, it's not always good, but it's good against Volcanion when they start a Volcanion-EX. So, if they're playing Hoopa, they're probably playing 4 Volcanion, so they have a relatively high chance of starting the Volcanion-EX. But we're waiting to see. Okay, yep. So they do decide to go first, of course. We will start the Fright Night Yveltal, so that's good. Just gotta hope that they start Volcanion EX. That would be good. We start Shaymin, which is also good, I guess. We see Fire Energy come down. We see a Fighting Fury Belt. Wow. Now, they could play Enhanced Hammer, but I think I'm just going to risk it. Put that down. Don't really want to do anything else. Well, okay, so if it's Volcanion, then Enhanced Hammer and Bisharp are both basically useless. And Trubbish is very good. So we'll do that. We'll try and set up a Garbodor for next turn. We'll just N. Okay, great. So we got Energy. We got a Pawniard again. We got a Trubbish. We'll put down Trubbish. And I think we'll just pass. So if they don't get an Enhanced Hammer, then we're in a really good spot. Even if they retreat. Let's see, Flareon EX. Okay. Still guessing that there's Volcanion, but the question is, do they just go for a Sky Return? Okay, they do for Sky Return for 30. So we'll just... Man, they probably have a really bad hand. I don't really want to help them out, so I'll just pitch Black Spear for 60. It's not super strong, but they're going to take a while to power up this Flareon. We do see a Fighting Fury Belt come down, which, again, probably not useful. Ultra Ball. Maybe they'll get a Hoopa here. This discard 2 VS Seeker. Or a Hoopa. Okay, so they will probably get set up here. But now we've got a bunch of EXs down, and Yveltal loves that. There's an outside chance they get a knockout, but I just don't really see it happening, honestly. Volcanion, Flareon. We know they have a Shaymin in hand. Maybe they've got a Skyfield. I mean, they need more, probably. Lightning, or I mean, fire on the bench, which is fine. I actually see a Lysandre here, which could present itself as a problem. Huh. Don't think I want to put Pawniard out, though. I just don't think it's going to really come in handy. And let's see, Scorched Earth. And we just pass to Aris. So I think I'll Parallel City and limit their damage. Maybe not. Maybe it's better to wait. Yeah, we'll just wait. We'll just end. Because, yeah, we don't have anything really desirable on our bench. We might need to set up. Okay, we got Float Stone. Fantastic. Got a Float Stone. We could just get Garbodor out now. But I think what we'll do is we'll go like this. Grab a Shaymin. Try and dig a little more. Not that we don't have a good setup going already. But I'd like to get the energy drop on something useful. Which apparently is going to be Pawniard. I guess. Just trying to avoid it. But we will pitch Black Spear. We'll put damage on the other Flareon. And we're looking in decent shape. And we'll take a knockout on this Flareon next turn probably. And they might return with a Blaze Ball the following turn. We do see a Max Elixir. I think it'd be best to put that... I actually would have put it somewhere else. But then we can actually follow up with a Bisharp knockout. Potentially we can retaliate for a knockout. So right now we're trading... I mean, it's a great trade, honestly. We didn't get the Garbodor, but it doesn't matter yet. Next turn it could matter. Probably still won't, though. What we don't want to see is some sort of switching card here. Sycamore. Interesting how they grabbed that Volcanion to just discard it. I see Ranger, which is not a surprise. Lysandre, Sycamore. Oh shoot, they got the switch. That is bad. Okay. And Max Elixir, which is really not useful right now. I will set up though, and hopefully we can get an attacker before we end. We got a Bisharp, so we could actually retaliate here, which wouldn't be all that bad. It's, well, it's bad if you can't get anything else. There's a little Super Rod. Back this stuff. Retreat, and we'll just retaliate. It's far from ideal. But if we can get a Fright Knight set up next turn, we can take a double knockout. So, I mean, ultimately we're still looking at a pretty okay situation. But again, we really need to top deck like Ultra Ball. Or Fright Knight. Oh wait, Fright Knight ability's turned off. Shoot, we don't get the double knockout, but we'll get a lot of damage down for sure. We'd get at least the active knocked out. Or an Yveltal would work too. I mean, we have options. Yveltal would knock out the active, so that would be fine. So we do need a Max Elixir hit. Alright, so we got a Sycamore, so that does mean I think I need to end though. Which is unideal, but we are limiting our opponent's hand size. And let's see what we can get here. Oh my goodness. No attackers. Alright, so double Max Elixir, we can actually get a Sky Return knockout. Or just one Max Elixir. I just need one of these to hit. Come on. Okay, 1 of 3. Not what you're usually looking for. But we will be able to get a Sky Return knockout. And then maybe we'll finally get like a good attacker. I guess we send a Trubbish. Good, Yveltal. Fantastic. All the Sycamores left in the deck, but, oh wait, no. Got one more Sycamore. So now we're looking like we're in business, finally. Took a while, but we are in business. Maybe it would have been better to just send up Garbodor, because they weren't going to get the knockout. Without, like, Max Elixir. Well, I mean, they could have. We've burned, what, one Float Stone? No Float Stone, just the one on Garbodor, okay. We need Float Stone, Max Elixir. We only have one Max Elixir. It's an interesting matchup, though. I think it kind of just... I mean, I would say that it plays out like the normal matchup, but we did get a hit in with Bisharp. Alright, so we're going to just attach and Sycamore. We really want to hit that Max Elixir. We've only discarded 2 energy, so I think it's fairly likely. And then we'll put down Fright Knight. We will Max Elixir. Oh my gosh, how do we miss so many? Is all of our energy prized? We didn't have the Float Stone anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. We'll just let Trubbish get knocked out. Yeah. We'll just let Trubbish get knocked out, and then we'll probably end next turn just because they have a huge hand. We'll probably parallel and then parallel ourselves, discarding Shaymin. Unless they knock out the Shaymin. So yeah, I probably should have paralleled. We see a Fisherman though, which is fine. So what we'll do is they'll knock us out, put down Pawniard, parallel out Shaymin, and we'll get a knockout with a Yveltal. Yeah, let's just go straight into the Yveltal. We know we're going to attack with it this turn. We got another one. Cool. And I don't even need the Pawniard, but I'll Yeah, I don't need the Pawniard. Well, I'll put it down so I can discard it. So Parallel City, and this is fantastic because we get to get rid of what we don't want and we reduce their damage. That's always nice. When that works out that way, we will reverse the Seeker for an N, put them down to 3. We'll put ourselves down to 4, or I guess up to 4 at this point. But it's good, honestly. Plus we got good cards. And we will do that, and we will Evil Ball. We're doing 130, which is well more than enough for a knockout. And now all we need is, do we have any, did we burn all of our VS Seekers? We have 1 left. So, VS Seeker, we can knock out a Shaymin, I think. 1, 2, 3, yeah, we can knock out a Shaymin next turn if we get a VS Seeker. But either way, we're in a really good, really good position. And we see the Sycamore discarding 2 fires. They actually didn't even attach a fire, which is strange. They did get to replace the stadium. I guess probably they wanted to attach the Volcanion. They want to Float Stone or like switch retreat or something, and then get a power heater off. Oh, escape rope. Yeah. We'll send up Garbodor because they won't get a knockout on it. And then Evil Ball for a knockout. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so we can Evil Ball for a knockout. So that's fantastic too. Retreat. We'll put that there. We'll put that there. And we will Evil Ball for a knockout. And now our opponent really doesn't have much they can do. We got a Delinquent, which is pretty nasty. That's just a dirty card. Okay, so we see Volcanion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're so close to a knockout. We just need the stadium, which we haven't even played one yet. So if we got a Reverse Valley, we get a knockout here. But if we don't get a Reverse Valley, then we'll just Delinquent, and then Y-Cyclone, the DC, and then put the, yeah. Oh, well, wow. They draw a lot. I mean, like, Tierno seems kind of silly, but they're drawing a lot. Don't get the stadium. Just make sure I'm doing the math right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's a knockout. Why do I keep making that mistake? Okay. Alrighty. Well, we're going to Evil Ball for the knockout. And we will take this game against Volcanion, which I think is, I mean, it tends to be kind of just about Garbodor and Fright Knight, as you can see. But that was good. Didn't really get to show off any of the highlights of the new deck or of the techs in the deck. But maybe we'll see some more of this deck. If I do some changes with it, maybe play a different variant in the future, and we'll see what we can do. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye.